Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about Stalker. And this movie came out in 1979 and is directed by Andrei Tarkovsky. And I've never seen this movie before, and this is my first Tarkovsky film that I've seen. And I really loved this movie. I fell in love with it probably 40 minutes in is when I really started to love it, because before that point it was like technically very well made. The movie looked great. Every shot was beautiful to look at. I also really enjoyed the music when it was there, and also when the music was just completely absent and it was just silent, and it allowed you to soak everything in. And choices like that are things that I really appreciate and love. But once we got about 40 minutes in, that's where the movie really started to have a hook for me, and I was engaged with everything that was going on in the story. The characters are pretty simple. They're basically just named either Stalker, Professor, or Writer was the other one, and just anything as simple as that. And that's all the characters in this movie. And there's very little attention put on the side characters. It's mostly just this group of three characters. Or two of them want to go to this one place. I forget what it's called specifically. And the Stalker is just going to guide them to it. And all the acting I thought was really great in this movie, from what I could tell. Obviously, with the language barrier, that can make it a little difficult to make out. But from what I could tell, they did a pretty great job. And the characters were also very interesting in this movie. I was always curious as to which character was going to say something interesting. I wanted to learn more about one character or that character. And even when you do learn something, it's never going to the point where I was like, oh, you said too much, or it was like, I didn't really like learning that much about these characters. You get just enough to where they're interesting and they give you a lot to think about. And sometimes they do things which I'm not going to spoil because obviously I think it's very important to the film and will ruin a big part of the experience of this film. And I honestly wasn't expecting it because I knew nothing going into this movie other than it was supposed to be good. And it surprised me, and I really loved it. And the movie also did a great job at building tension. There are sometimes long stretches of scenes where there's no music and it's just characters walking very carefully and slowly, and you don't know what's going to happen. And all of that stuff is great, and it was thoroughly engaging for me. And the movie never lost me, despite it being almost 3 hours long. I was never really bored for the most part. Maybe a little bit in the first 40 minutes because I didn't really know where things were going. But once it got going, it really changed my perspective as to the rest of the movie and how I felt about it. And I was like, oh, this is where we were going the entire time. And the movie also gives you a lot to chew on in terms of ideas that it's exploring. There's also lots of mystery to the film, which also adds to the movie. It doesn't give you all of the answers, and it does want you to interpret the film in certain ways, and you can just make up your own interpretations as to what certain things mean in the film, and you can take a lot of meaning away from it, and that's what I really love about it. It kind of reminds me of Eraserhead in some senses, where it's just basically the entire movie is just left up to interpretation, and you just have to get there on your own. And it never once feels pretentious to me. It's always feels like it's a vision from the director and they want to communicate something. And this isn't something that happens throughout the film, but there are at least one or two moments in this movie that I found to be disturbing and really effective. And the movie sets everything up very well, and it doesn't really waste a lot of time. And my only issues with this movie are just nitpicky things, like a car stopping abruptly when it's going 50 miles an hour and it sounds like it's going 60 miles an hour or faster, that kind of sound effect. It just sounded a bit odd to me. There's a point where characters were supposed to be shot at, and that was the implication, but you can very clearly tell that someone just threw rocks in the water, and that's the implication that someone is shooting at them, and it just looks kind of bad. And I also love the look of the film. I don't exactly know the correct word to describe how the movie opens, when it's in a certain area, and it's just that color. I felt as though switching between that and just regular color and having like everything colorful and beautiful like that added a lot to the film. And when it wasn't colorful and beautiful, it's kind of wet and disgusting. And when I say that, I mean like the environment is that way. Like the floor is like, is there like one dry spot on the floor? I don't think so. But I felt as though that added to the film, and there's just a lot that I really love about this movie, and I will be checking it out again whenever I get a chance to rewatch it. And I would highly recommend that you check this movie out. It's not a super fast-paced movie, but I was never really bored by it, and I'll come back to it again at some point, and I just really loved the experience of this movie. So check this movie out whenever you get the chance. I would highly recommend it, and with all that being said, I'm going to give Stalker a 10 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos. As always, if you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below you thought of Stalker, and my social media links, they will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for Trial of the Pink Panther. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.